Imagine a moment that could redefine the future of English football. A single decision, rippling through Premier League clubs, sparking debate from pub talk to boardroom meetings, and sending a clear message. No one is safe, not even the stars. This is not just about picking 11 men for a game. This is about revolution, risk, and a manager unafraid to burn bridges to chase glory. Thomas Tuchel, the man who conquered Europe with Chelsea and rewrote the tactical playbook at PSG and Dortmund, has taken over England at a time when the pressure has never been higher. The mandate is simple: win the World Cup in 2026. But his methods? Far from simple. In fact, they threaten to unravel the delicate balance between tradition and ambition that's defined English football for decades. Just over a year out from the biggest tournament in the sport, Tuchel has slammed shut the revolving door of England selection, and with it, reignited the fierce club versus country debate. For players like Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, or Cole Palmer, club and country commitments are colliding in a calendar maxed out to breaking point. Would Tuchel spare his overworked stars from meaningless friendlies? Would he appease impatient club bosses anxious to protect their prized assets? Or would he make a stand, risking friction for the sake of his own vision? Tuchel's answer, delivered with the clarity of a true believer: we will start camp with 26 players and finish camp with the same 26 players. There will be no special treatment. The stars will sweat, travel, and fight alongside the hopefuls. The message is unmistakable. Camaraderie and culture are non-negotiable. The England camp is not a halfway house for tired legs. It's a crucible for forging a team. But dig deeper, and the contradictions pile up. On one hand, Tuchel insists on togetherness, on building a group with the resilience to survive football's biggest stage. On the other hand, his selections for the latest squad raise eyebrows everywhere. Why, for example, call up Ivan Toney, freshly crowned a champion in Asia, despite never having seen him play live? Why leave out Dominic Solanke, a proven performer, on the grounds of familiarity? Why does Jordan Henderson, still polarizing and past his peak, get the nod over youth like Adam Wharton? And why is England, a squad overflowing with experience and big names, supposedly desperate for more leaders? The answers lie in a tactical revolution that's as ruthless as it is ambitious. Tuchel is not here to merely tinker around the edges. He is rewriting the rules, borrowing from the playbooks of German efficiency and data-driven science. The backbone of his New England? A 3-5-2 formation, deployed with the same meticulous, high-octane frequency that brought him Champions League glory at Chelsea. The midfield is loaded: Bellingham the dynamo, Rice the anchor, and, potentially, Trent Alexander-Arnold, the Premier League's most creative defender, reborn as a playmaking midfielder. It's a bold experiment, but not without its risks. Training under Tuchel has become a test of endurance and will. The training intensity has definitely stepped up under Tuchel. He's very demanding, but also very clear about what he wants, reveals Kieran Trippier, offering a glimpse behind the closed doors of St. George's Park. Gegenpressing, once the hallmark of Tuchel's Dortmund sides, is now an English obsession. Players are tracked with GPS vests, their every movement analyzed in real time. The FA, keen to avoid another injury crisis, has invested heavily in sports science and load management. But the transformation is not just physical, it's psychological. To thrive in Tuchel's England, you must buy in or risk being left behind. This transition, however, has not come without pain. The omissions are as revealing as the inclusions. Jack Grealish's dazzling footwork and headline-grabbing moments, irrelevant if his pressing numbers fall below Tuchel's ruthless standards. Adam Wharton, hailed as the future of England's midfield, is told to prove himself with the under-21s. Dominic Solanke and Harry Maguire are left out, their value apparently capped by Tuchel's prior knowledge. Meanwhile, Ivan Toney, fresh from tearing up the Saudi League but untested in this ferocious environment, is handed a lifeline. The logic is dizzying. Part merit, part faith, part cold calculation. The stakes? Nothing less than England's footballing soul. Alan Shearer, never shy of a strong opinion, spells it out on BBC Sport. The exclusion of certain players sends a clear message that work rate and tactical discipline are now paramount under Tuchel. For some, this is a long overdue correction, a necessary shift from hype to hard-nosed execution. For others, it's a dangerous game, one that risks alienating proven talent and stunting the development of the next generation. Then there's the issue that lurks beneath every decision: club versus country. The modern fixture list is a minefield. The Club World Cup looms, cramming more matches into a calendar already bulging at the seams. Clubs, who foot the bill for player wages and worry about injuries, are restive. Why risk Kane, Bellingham, or Palmer in routine internationals when club trophies and millions in prize money are at stake? The FA tries to play peacemaker. Player welfare is our top priority, and we are working closely with clubs to manage workloads effectively. But the message is clear. Tuchel will bow to no one. It is his way, or no way at all. Behind the scenes, the Football Association is pouring resources into Tuchel's project, bringing in a renowned set-piece specialist to squeeze every drop of advantage from dead ball situations. GPS tracking data is being used to tailor training sessions, reduce the risk of overload, and optimize recovery. But these bells and whistles cannot mask the cold reality. England's trophy drought is a millstone, and every decision is now judged through the unforgiving lens of, will it win us the World Cup? Expert voices are divided. Gary Neville warns on Sky Sports, Tuchel's emphasis on tactical flexibility could unlock England's attacking potential, but defensive solidity remains a concern. Jamie Carragher is even more pointed in The Telegraph. Tuchel's short-term focus could be a double-edged sword. It might bring immediate success, but at the expense of long-term player development. For the players, this is uncharted territory. The old certainties, seniority, reputation, comfort, are gone. What remains is the relentless pursuit of Tuchel's vision, defined by pressing, data, and the cold calculus of elite sport. But for fans and analysts alike, a burning question remains. Can such a drastic, uncompromising approach really work on the world's biggest stage? Will Tuchel's revolution forge the unity and edge needed to finally end England's decades-long wait for glory? Or will it tear the fabric of the team apart when the pressure is at its peak? As the England squad converges, stars and hopefuls alike, on the training pitch, the answer is anything but clear. And as the first whistle of this new era draws near, one truth becomes blindingly obvious. The next 12 months will test not just Tuchel's tactics, but the very identity of English football. Will the gamble pay off, or will it backfire spectacularly? Are Tuchel's methods the cure to England's chronic underachievement, or just another chapter in the nation's saga of near misses? This is England at a crossroads, and the world is watching. Next, we'll dive deeper into the firestorm of reactions from clubs, fans, and players themselves, as well as the crucial test matches that may either vindicate or destroy Tuchel's bold new order. But first, ask yourself, if everything Tuchel is building depends on togetherness and discipline, what happens when reality bites? When injuries, egos, and fatigue come crashing in? The answer could decide England's fate for a generation. So, as the dust settles on Tuchel's radical England reset, the entire footballing world is holding its breath. The question lingers, can this no-nonsense, sometimes contradictory approach really stand the test of the international calendar, the egos of England's top stars, and the relentless pressure only a country obsessed with football can generate? The first shockwaves have already reached England's Premier League clubs. Some are quietly furious. Managers at Manchester City and Arsenal, for example, are deeply unhappy at the inclusion of their stars for friendlies so close to crucial club games. One club source, speaking off the record, said, "We support England, but our players are our priority. This is a World Cup year, and the risk of fatigue or injury is real." But Tuchel isn't blinking. He's got only 5 international camps before the World Cup. He believes that forging a winning mindset requires living and training together, not splitting up the squad for convenience. We want to build a camaraderie and togetherness, and that's only possible if we take every game seriously, he declared at Wembley. This single-mindedness is sending a clear message. There are no half measures in the Tuchel regime. Yet, this unyielding discipline comes at a cost. Not everyone is on board. Behind closed doors, some England regulars are said to be grumbling about the grinding intensity of training, the focus on GPS-tracked sprints, and the almost military standards of preparation. One recently dropped senior player privately admitted, "I loved playing for England, but now it feels like you're always being watched. There's no room to breathe." Injuries are another looming shadow. With the calendar crammed and Club World Cup commitments looming, more than one expert has warned that Tuchel's relentless approach might leave England's best exhausted by the time that all-important World Cup rolls around. Gary Neville summed it up. Tuchel's tactical flexibility could unlock England's attacking potential, but defensive solidity remains a concern, and you worry about wear and tear. But it's not just the clubs feeling uneasy. Fans, too, are divided. Some are cheering the boldness. Finally, a manager prepared to put egos aside and prioritize the shirt. Others are nervous. Could this all backfire spectacularly? Social media is awash with memes of Tuchel as a drill sergeant, barking orders at bewildered superstars. In the England camp itself, the temperature is rising. The new faces, players like Ivan Toney, finally given a shot based on his outstanding form in Asia, are buzzing with excitement. Toney himself said, "Tuchel's made it clear, if you perform, you're in. Reputation counts for less than ever." But for established stars like Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, it's a double-edged sword. They know their place isn't automatically secure. One bad month, a dip in work rate, or a failure to buy into the high-pressing gegenpress, and they could easily find themselves on the bench. The message from Tuchel is unmistakable. Nobody is undroppable. And that might be the biggest change of all. Past England squads often stuck with familiar faces, sometimes at the expense of form players. Not anymore. The new regime is about data, dynamism, and desire, regardless of age, club, or reputation. But what happens if results go sour? Imagine England slip up in an early qualifier, or worse, a star pulls a hamstring in a friendly. The pressure, already volcanic, could become unbearable. The tabloids are waiting, with knives sharpened, for the first sign of weakness. If Tuchel's bet backfires, the consequences could be brutal, not just for him, but for the entire FA structure. A failed World Cup would fuel those who say England can never mix radical tactics with its traditional footballing culture. It would hand power back to the clubs, who would double down on protecting their own. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's a very real chance that Tuchel's gamble pays off. Imagine an England squad, drilled to perfection, fitter than ever, tactical chameleons capable of switching formation mid-game, opponents left chasing shadows. Imagine a World Cup where England is not merely hoping, but truly believing, where stars like Bellingham and Kane thrive in a system designed to get the very best from them, because everyone is held to the same standard. Let's look at some of the specific opportunities Tuchel's ruthless clarity brings. First, the new system could unlock the best of England's young stars. Players like Cole Palmer, Adam Wharton, for now in the U21s, and even Ollie Watkins know they'll have to fight for every cap, but also that the path is clear. No more mysterious omissions for political reasons. Second, England's set-piece threat could go up another level. By hiring a specialist coach and drilling every free kick and corner, the team could exploit marginal gains, just as Southgate's early England sides once did, but with even more scientific precision thanks to Tuchel's insistence on data. Third, by refusing to compromise with clubs, Tuchel might actually force the FA and Premier League into more serious discussions about protecting player welfare. The GPS tracking isn't just for show, it's intended to let the national team and clubs share real-time data, so no one gets run into the ground unnecessarily. Of course, there are pitfalls. England's tradition of hero worship, clinging to past glories, forgiving big names when their form dips, could clash with Tuchel's "what have you done for me lately" ethos. If fan favorites like Grealish or Maguire never return, will supporters stay loyal? Yet, there's an undeniable thrill in the air. For the first time in years, England's tactical identity is sharp and uncompromising. As Alan Shearer pointed out, Tuchel's not here to make friends, he's here to win. So, what are the lessons for all of us watching this revolution unfold? What can the average fan, coach, or even armchair manager learn from Tuchel's high-wire act? First, excellence doesn't come from comfort zones. Tuchel's story is a reminder that lasting success demands high standards, even if they make you unpopular. In your own life, whether leading a team, chasing a goal, or just looking to improve, being honest about what's required, not just what's convenient, is the real difference maker. Second, consistency and clarity are everything. Tuchel's unwavering message, "We start camp with 26, we end with 26, shows that people respond best when leaders have firm convictions. If you want those around you to believe, you have to show you believe too. No half measures, no empty gestures. Third, don't be afraid to challenge tradition. England has a long history of playing it safe, relying on established stars, fearing the wrath of clubs. Tuchel's willingness to upend that, no matter the backlash, offers a powerful example. Progress often means shaking up comfortable routines. Fourth, data matters, but so does trust. Tuchel uses the most advanced stats and GPS tools to measure performance, but he also relies on gut instinct, bringing in Ivan Toney without even seeing him live, trusting in the recommendations of scouts and the player's record. In any field, combining hard evidence with human judgment yields the best results. And finally, leadership isn't about being liked, it's about being respected. As one England insider put it, Some of the lads are wary, but nobody doubts who's in charge. All eyes now turn to England's next camp. Will Tuchel's young and hungry squad gel? Will the big names adapt or rebel? Will the gamble on pressing and work rate survive the reality of injuries and fatigue? The answer right now is still unwritten, but one thing is certain: for better or worse, England will never be the same. And here's a secret fact you won't hear elsewhere. Behind the scenes, Tuchel has commissioned his own analytics team, separate from the FA, to deliver daily reports on training load, tactical compliance, and even sleep data for every player. He wants no surprises, nothing left to chance. This level of detail is almost unheard of in international football. It could be the edge that finally brings football home, or the quirk that makes Tuchel's England a case study in what happens when science meets passion, and neither is willing to give an inch. So, what do you think? Is Tuchel the manager bold enough to smash England's glass ceiling, or is he setting himself up for a spectacular fall? Will his revolution endure or crumble at the first sign of crisis? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe if you want a front row seat to every twist and turn on England's